All right, guys, I want to welcome everybody tonight here to Tuesday evening. Tuesday, you guys aren't used to hearing us on Tuesdays. But this is Chris. I'm going to be your engineer tonight for a brand new show, Coast to Coast. We're super fired up about this. I see you guys are piling in. Mike Draco in the house. Bug Killer's here. Karen Andrea, so ridiculously excited about this show. So are we. Brad Tanner, Rebecca Cunningham in the house. Dan Benson from Tennessee. Good to see all you guys. We want to send a shout out to our Choppertown family and Cyclesource magazine crew. Just about, what do we got? 6.5 minutes and we're going live. We're going to let the social media family build up in here. Get ready for the first installment of Coast to Coast, man. Don't go anywhere. Oh, I got to get back on for a second. Ella Rain's in the house. Nancy Weems here with us. What's up, Nancy? Marjorie Kleiman. Good to see you guys. Super fired up for this. Don't go anywhere. Going to be a fantastic show. You guys have no idea what's in store. I got the pre-show, so I kind of know. I hope. I think. I'm not sure. Couple minutes. We're going live. Just 3.5 minutes on the clock. 3.5 minutes. Got to send some shout outs to some more friends. Greg Rhodes, Good Captains, Jamon Rooney, Ricky Harden, Deluxe 09. Good to see all you guys. Just a couple minutes here. We're going to be going live with a fantastic show. Super excited for this, man. We've been working on this for the last couple of weeks here. Got everything polished up and we're going to take it for a test drive tonight with you guys, but make sure you let us know how you like it. All right, man, I should have figured this was going to be a great big crowd with our guest of honor tonight. With just a little over 2 minutes left to go, I think we're going to pull this thing out of the station, get it up on the tracks, and start rocking the first ever Coast to Coast. Get ready, man. Here we go.
Here.
It's fine. What was that?
I don't know.
Stand the door. Okay. Hey, how's it going out there? Well, here I am doing a show. Who would have thought, huh? Anyway, hey, where's Rob? I'm going to bring Rob, my friend, in here. Thanks for coming in, you guys. Thanks for watching us. This is the first show of our coast to coast. Who knows how long, but Rob is here. We are on different coasts. He's on one. I'm on way on the other one in Hawaii.
I was digging the music, man. Somebody else was digging the music too. This guy.
Hey, watch out. I got one too. Mine is wearing a mask.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Troublemaker.
You sent me this one back and it's got oil all over it from some ride we did.
Well, he was working on your bike. He was working on your VD.
Yeah, right. You know, Rob, I was just thinking last year at this time, I think I was in New Jersey at your shop, Retrocycle, and I flew in from Maui all the way on a red eye, and we went for breakfast, and then you slave drove me all day to work on that bike with no sleep, and I was bead blasting and doing all kinds of stuff, but here we are a year later, and we're on the show together.
Cris rode a 1934 VL. I'm going to say VL, even though we know it's...
I had VD. I did. It's a VD model. The bike is, you guys.
So it was totally rebuilt for the chase. And Cris came out and I says, the only way, listen, you're going on the chase. You're going to be all by yourself, going virtually coast to coast, north to south. I said, you're going to be on your own. You're going to have to work on this in yourself. So to your credit, man, you were turning the wrenches and you knew that bike inside and out and you made every mile. So that's really cool.
Thank you. Thanks. It was a different kind of challenge. You know, I was used to more of the cannonball. We have you have your crew and you have your mechanic with you, not there in the day, but in the evening, at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that's talk about life with the motorcycle. That was, you bonded.
We sure did. Even when the throttle came off in my hand the first day, Rob. And,
we got it up there. So anyway,
hey, listen, guys. In the studio, I got to give you a real quick report just to boost your confidence. I know first show jitters. You don't know what's going to happen. 300 people live right now on one network watching this. So
only 300.
Oh, dude.
Hey.
300.
Everybody, tell your friends, hit that share button,
right?
The like and share.
It's a killer start, though. Good for you.
That's great. Yeah. Well, that's kudos to Cris. Everybody knows Cris. And for those who don't know Cris, why don't we tell people a little bit about your background? Because I want to get into the postal years, but maybe you want to start a little earlier.
Yeah.
Before you went postal.
I did go postal for about 10 years there. I delivered mail. I always loved motorcycles since I was 9 or 10 years old. My stepdad had one, and I used to always beg him to please take me, and so he would take me. We'd go everywhere. And that little, I think it was a Honda 450 or something. I can't remember, maybe 550. And then when I was 13 or 14, one of my neighbors had a Sportster, and I heard the sound of that bike, and I was like, oh my God, I ran out of my house. I can still remember hearing it. And it was just like, whatever that is, I need to know more about it. So I got a bike. I got a Yamaha 100 when I was about, 14 or 15 years old. My mom, I have to credit my mom for that. My mom knew that I wanted a bike so bad, and she helped me find it, and I thanked her forever for it. She was my biggest fan. But then I rode the bike for a while, and then, went to high school and started. I actually raced a boy in the next neighborhood. It was kind of an interesting, quick story, and he was really cute, and I thought, man, if I beat this guy, he'll hate me for the rest of my life. So I let him win, and that was a funny little story. But anyway, so I rode for years, and then I quit for a while, and then I got my first Harley when I was 19 or 20, a Sportster, and then went on to a few more bikes, and then delivering mail. I had a bike shop on my route, a little motorcycle aftermarket shop. And they had all these motorcycle magazines. And I thought, well, this one's okay. And I'd read them on my lunch break, in the Jeep and not get lettuce between the pages. I was very careful, stuff like that. And I noticed there were no magazines for women motorcyclists. And I thought, well, why don't, I had a friend that worked at the Harley shop, and her I used to ride together all the time, my friend Joe Vanoni. And we decided to start a magazine. So it was kind of my idea, and then I dragged her into it. And then we had the magazine called Harley Women Magazine. She had a connection at the factory. We went up there with the little storyboards and sold them on letting us have this magazine. And it helped us. They bought full-page ads from us. They let us use the name Harley. Nobody does that, So they were very, very supportive. Harley Davidson was wonderful in supporting women riders, and they still are. There's other brands. I mean, things are so different now. So that's really my background in motorcycle journalism, kind of like with Cris, with Cycle Source. They started out, we started out with a borrowed typewriter and a Sure Shot Canon camera. I went to a lot of events, I worked at the post office still, so I would put the labels on and take them, mail them all, and get do the subscriptions, and then write the stories and sell the ads. And I was really a very shy person, so it was really hard for me. I had to call people from my mail route to sell ads to them.
I don't remember.
Not fun.
I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but your one of your big breaks was with Malcolm Forbes. Is that correct?
Well, I met Malcolm. Yeah, I mean, we were invited to go out to Malcolm's estate when he was giving Liz Taylor that Sportster, the Purple Passion Sportster, and it was a big event. And actually, Michael Lichter was the only other motorcycle press at that event. And it was all these German photographers, and it was just Mike and then my friend Joe and I. We got to ride with Malcolm. He told us, go in the barn and pick out a bike. And I rode his 81 Wide Glide. And I actually saw that bike in the Harley Davidson Museum archives last year when I was there. And I said, Bill Redensel said, oh, that was Malcolm's bike. I'm like, you're kidding. I rode that bike. The mirror was broken. The left mirror was hanging on this bike when I rode it. But so that was the whole Malcolm story, And then I met Pat after that in Sturgis a couple of years, I think in '89, they were playing a show for Harley Davidson. Pat was there with the Doobie Brothers. My husband, if anybody doesn't know, my husband.
So I want to stop you right there in case anybody doesn't know. Cris is one of the most famous female motorcyclists and a celebrity in her own right. I'm going to say it. You don't have to say it. But her husband is Pat Simmons from the Doobie Brothers. And I'm very fortunate to know them and call them friends of mine. And,
thanks, Rob. We actually met through our guest. Well, I met on Facebook.
Kind of, yeah.
But through Gloria Struck, who's our birthday girl, our special guest. I'm so happy to have Gloria on tonight. You can't imagine. I mean, I just adore everything. Gloria's my hero, just love her. But so I've met a lot of great people through the magazine, through Pat, through Facebook, through, motorcycling, really. I mean, most of my friends and my husbands I met through motorcycling. And it's just been awesome, and we heard about, I wrote a book. I wrote a couple of books. I wrote a kid's book in '94 called Patrick Wants to Ride.
Right.
And I self-published that book. I sold 20,000 copies of it.
Nice.
I still have a couple around here. And then one day I got a call from Matt Olson, our friend out in South Dakota, and he told me about this ride called the Cannonball, the motorcycle Cannonball that his friend Lonnie Isom was going to do. And he thought it'd be really cool if Pat could do this ride, So I told Pat, I remember telling him, hey, man, you should do this, It's 1916 and earlier. You've got a 15 Harley, a 15, I think what else he has, an Excelsior. And he said, well, I can't commit to something like that. Why don't you do it? And I was like, well, I don't know. I had just spent 3 years researching this book called The American Motorcycle Girls, 1900 to 1950, looking at all these black and white photos of all these women riding these early motorcycles. And then I'm having a chance to actually ride one. It was just so surreal to me. So what happened was we got the bike running. I told him, yeah, I'll do it, not even knowing how to ride one. I've never ridden anything that old with a foot clutch and a hand shift. And so we got the bike running enough where I could ride it a little bit in Hawaii, even though we have no straight roads here. Everything's curved. We shipped the bike out to Steve Hunsinger in Central California, and he redid the motor, and I went back and forth and learned about the bike again and did some test riding. Oh my God, the first day I rode that bike, I almost slid into a fence and took my pinky off because it just, they sit up so high. And they're just such a different motorcycle to ride. But I did pretty good. I got out I only had like 80 miles on on the foot clutch when I went to the start of the Cannonball. And here I'm looking around all these guys in the antique world, and there's one other woman from Germany, and I didn't really talk to her much. She was with her husband. She didn't speak very good English. I mean, we would wave and she would smile a lot. And she was riding a single, a JAP 1907 JAP, I think 200cc. I don't remember if it's even that much. And I would pass her every day, and she would be run alongside her bike, and she would jump on, and it was just amazing. She actually won her class for that year, the singles class. But I ended up having some issues with rockers and push rods and stuff like that, and I missed a little day here and there, and had a flat tire one day about 15 miles from the hotel. So I didn't have my perfect score or anything, but I did cross the finish line, I think in 20th place or something like that. So I didn't do the 2012 Cannonball. I sat it out. I didn't have the right bike, but I did. Harley flew me out to do some talks at the museum when they did come through in 2012 into Milwaukee to the museum. And I ended up jumping off and staying with them and joining the crew and the staff to try to help out, because it was just too much for me. Because, you meet these people, and the Cannonball is such a family. Just like any, all of us know about motorcycles and our friends that we've been riding with for years. And it's hard for me to stay away. In 2014, I rode my 34, and Pat rode along. And I think he broke down somewhere, and I still feel bad. I had to leave him on the side of the road a couple of times. And that's
on your anniversary.
Yeah, it's always our anniversary on the Cannonball. Yeah, September 18th. It's 30 years. I think 31 years this year.
Happy anniversary. I'll see you later.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that. I mean, if I can't help you, I got to go. It's a timed event. I couldn't stay.
I've got to go.
I got to go. He knows.
I love you, but I got to go.
Yeah. And I finished that one too. And then 2016, we're going to ride again together. And it was great. He had his 14. It was the Century race. I had my 15 out again, Effie, who I dearly love that motorcycle. And we were going to, I think that was Atlantic City to San Diego. I think he made it about halfway, maybe. I can't remember.
And I had the good pleasure to be with you guys on the last Cannonball, and we had a blast. You talk about family. Like, we were good friends. I was hesitant to do it with you because I didn't want to ruin our friendship. And our friendship has actually gotten a lot better since then, and I'm really glad I got to do it.
Wait, we're still friends, Rob? Are we? I guess.
Well,
so. I'm kidding.
You see this guy? I mean, you introduced me to this, and this has been trouble. So I just
well,
there is
mine. I got mine. He's okay. He liked the music in the beginning. That was Pat playing that music, you guys, if anyone wanted to know.
Before we get to our guest of honor this evening, I see something about Hall of Fames. Tell us about some of your inductions into some of these halls of fame. AMA?
I don't know when, 2003 maybe. The first one was the National Motorcycle Hall of Fame, which was John Parham's through his museum. And then that one morphed into the AMA one. So they brought me into the AMA after that. And then I think I was nominated to Sturgis. I can't remember what year it was. I don't know. The black up there somewhere, 2013 or 10 or something, 9. I don't know. I don't keep track. But it was really such an honor to me to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, you should be. I mean, and then in addition to all these other things with the magazine and the other writings and all of that, I mean, you've done Coast to Coast several times. And it's no accident the name of the show is Coast to Coast, because all these cannonballs on a 1915 and your legacy. I mean, this is tremendous. It's an honor for me to be here with you tonight.
Oh, thank you, Rob. I thought of the name because I was just looking at, I had the book, the Cannonball book that I wrote. It's over here somewhere, and it said Coast to Coast on the cover. So that's why I looked at that and I went, oh, Coast to Coast. And it's kind of cool because, we're all on the, I'm like a coastal person. I like to ride. Long distance is my thing. That's probably why Gloria and I have such a connection, because she's a long distance rider. Most motor maids, they ride. They don't trailer. They have to, you have to ride to the convention. It's awesome. They're just all from all different walks of life. But I had a connection with Gloria. I met her actually when I did my American Motorcycle Girls 1900, 1950 book. I interviewed her and I just fell in love with her and decided to keep her forever. And she's become like a second mom to me, and I'm sure a couple other women out there feel the same way about Gloria. We just adore her.
She's terrific, and I'm lucky to have met her, but I know her a little differently, and we'll get into some of that. So, what do you think? We want to bring her in now, and
Sure, bring her in. We have to talk a little slower because she doesn't have any headphones, but we will. It's her birthday. I can't believe we're getting her on her 95th birthday. How
this is
exciting.
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
There she is, the birthday girl.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear us? Hi. Come on, smile. Don't be nervous. You do more speaking than I do these days. Speaking engagements.
Gloria, I haven't seen you in such a long time. You know, I used to introduce you as my date every chance I would get. So it's good to see you.
Well, thank you. Good to see you too.
And it's your birthday. Oh my gosh, you're 95 years old. How's it feel?
Well, what do you say?
What'd you say? Uh-oh. I said, how's it feel to be 95 years old?
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Who's
you.
Well, I'm not 95.
Oh. Whoever thought I'd live that long, right?
Right on.
I'm still.
Well, I know we wanted to sing happy birthday to you, but I don't know if your special friend is going to show up. He's out there chasing my grandson around right now. I can hear him in the other room here.
Well, he'll come in eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have my granddaughter, Kathy, waiting, and Lori. And I have my two great grandchildren sitting alongside of me right now. They also have birthdays in July. Justin's going to be 19, and Alyssa's going to be 22. And when people hear about my great grandchildren, I think they expect a 5-year-old maybe and a 3-year-old, but they don't realize, hey, I'm 95 years old, and everybody's up there in age, except my newest great-granddaughter, Katie. She's 16 months old, and she is really a 3-year-old mentality, or maybe more. She is something again that I'm very proud to say. And she has a rocking Harley, and I don't know what the future holds for her, but the women in the Tremonton family keep on going.
Terrific. Hey, Gloria, how did you and Cris meet?
How did I what?
How did you and Cris meet? Cris Simmons. How did you meet her?
How did I meet Cris?
Yeah.
Well, Cris called me from Hawaii. I forget what year it was, but it was way back. And she interviewed me for her book, the one that said women writers from 19, what was it, 19 something?
1900 to 1950. Yeah.
Yeah, in 1950. And of course, I've been writing since 1941. And I don't know where she heard about me, but anyway, she interviewed me and I was in her book. So a lot of times we were at the same rallies, the same places, and I would autograph my picture in her book. And we got to be very friendly that way. So even before I I never thought of writing a book, but even before I did, we had been together in quite a few places, book signing.
Oh yeah, you helped me sell a lot of books. I have to thank you for that. And I always told you need to write a book, and you did. And we're gonna talk about your book later, and show pictures of it, and tell some stories about your book.
Yeah, this is my book, And the cover picture
I guess
is
we'll talk about it now.
I guess we will. It's fine.
it's from the painting that David Yule did.
Right on. It's
And,
okay.
Go ahead. It's all right.
I have one too somewhere. Where is it?
And yeah, I've been touring around. My gosh, I don't even know how many places I've been, but last year, all I know is I cut home on a Sunday night. Monday, I try to catch up with my mail, my bills, do laundry, pack up, and leave again. It was quite a year, let me tell you.
Gloria, I'm going to back you up a little bit here because we'll talk about the book a little more. But one thing I want to talk to you about is a little bit of your family history, because I sort of only met you a few years back. Well, it's probably 10 or 12 years now, but I knew your brother very well. Your brother wanted to hire me at 14 years old to work for Tremont and Harley Davidson. And Tremont and Harley Davidson was big time. And I knew your brother. You tell us a little bit about Bub Tremont and what Bub meant to you, your brother.
Well, you want to hear about my brother? My brother was active racer. First time he raced, he was 16 years old, and he had to get a special permission from the racing commission to race. So my mother signed for him, and his first race he entered was a championship race, and the racers in that lineup were men that had won awards. They were champions in their field, and that was his first race when he was 16 years old. And I think he did a very good job of it. He wrote a letter and asked them if they would approve of him racing. My mother had said she would sign for him. And that was the start of his racing career. He did 12 different kinds of racing. Included, hill climbing and
he was
ice
an
racing.
Iron Man.
Yeah, and ice racing, and he was good. He didn't have time to really tour around because he was running the business all by himself. And
Gloria, maybe tell them about how your mom, you were born in the back of the shop, of the motorcycle shop. Go back even further.
Yeah, let's go back further.
Yeah. So you were born in the back of the shop in 1925. Your dad had a motorcycle shop. Tell us about the motorcycle shop.
My father started a motorcycle business in 1915. And in 1928, he got hit by a car making a left turn. Imagine, 1928, how many cars were on the road? And he died at the age of 31, my dad.
And your father had he was an Indian dealer, is that correct?
No, my father was an Excelsior Henderson dealer.
Okay.
And, in the 30s and 40s, my mother took over as a Indian dealer. And that's why I owned 3 Indians before I started on my Harleys. Because when my mother retired in 1947, my brother took over as a Harley dealer.
Well, how many years did your mother run the dealership after your father?
My father died in 1928, and she retired in 1947.
So that was kind of unusual for a woman to own a motorcycle shop, was it not?
Yes. But she carried on. When my father died in 1928, people were telling her to sell the business, and she refused. Carried on through the Great Depression, and believe me, those were very hard times for any business, not just motorcycle builder. That's a picture of our shop.
There it is.
Dad is on by the gas pump. My mom is next to him. She's pregnant with me. That's my dog Jimmy on top of the sidecar. And the cowboy suit, the little kid in the cowboy suit is my brother Bo. Now, there's a little apartment behind the shop. It's joined with the shop. And that's my birthplace, Lexington Avenue in Clifton, New Jersey. And I still live in Clifton, New Jersey.
Awesome.
All my life. Yeah. So,
And then tell them about how then Bub taught you how to ride. You didn't really want to. So how did you start riding? I like this story a lot.
Start riding? Well,
Yes.
I was with motorcycles every day of my life. I was born there. And when I was about 10 years old was the first time I was on a motorcycle. My brother took me for a ride around the block. Now, when I was 16, he said to me one day, I'm going to teach you how to ride a motorcycle. And I looked at him and I stamped my foot. I says, no, you're not, because I do not want to ride a motorcycle and I'm not going to do it. Well, I've been riding ever since that day in 1941.
I guess you must have liked it, huh? I guess you must have liked it. I guess you liked it a lot. So yeah, then you did a lot of other riding too. You did some trips and
80 years almost, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
1941 to 2020 is how many years?
Justin didn't know there was going to be any
It's a long time, okay? Oh, that's me on my 1941 Indian Bonneville Scout.
Nice.
Now, that
Love that bike.
That motorcycle has a little history. I used to ride with a fellow named Larry. He was my riding buddy, and and Len Struck was his best friend. Now, Larry didn't go into World War II because he was just a little too young, but my husband went. And so I didn't know Len at first. Larry was my riding buddy. And when Len came home from service, he wanted to get a motorcycle again. And him and Larry came to our shop. And that's how I met Len. Now, Len liked my motorcycle, the one you see there, because, during World War II, motorcycles were not offered to public use. They were all going to the Army. So that was in 1945. And the war was over in 1945. And when they came to the shop, he kind of liked my bike. Now, I knew that pretty soon they were coming out with the new motorcycles for public use. No more Army bikes. And so I sold it to him for $500. Now, I knew Len 5 years before I even dated him. We were married for 56 years before he passed away. And he never let me forget that I overcharged him for that motorcycle. That's
great. That's great.
Something? I just found out a number of years back that, remember Costco Harley?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Rob, you know Costco Harley. And
right.
They had a bike just like that, same color. As far as I knew, it might have been my old bike.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, so the next time, they had it for sale. The next time I was to Costco's, Lou says to me, hey, Gloria, guess how much we got for the Indian? I said, what? He says, $22,000. I said,
that's great.
I sold it to my husband for $500. I should have kept it.
Hey, Gloria, do you remember when we were in Daytona about 5 years ago? And we were walking around Main Street and some guy pulled up on an Indian, just like the one you had, the same color. And you walked up to him. He had just parked, and you walked up to him. You said, with your hands on your hips like you do, I had one just like that. And he looked at you kind of funny. And then you pulled out your little photo album with all your photos, and you showed him, there I am on my bike. And he was taking pictures with you, and he just loved all that. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great
Well,
bike.
it's so funny when I go to these antique motorcycle shows, I see a bike that I had when it was brand new. And I go,
Yeah.
oh, I own that when it was brand new. And the guys go crazy because they never met.
It's
They
so
meet
funny.
collectors. You know, they meet other people that collect old bikes. I never collected. They were mine when they were brand new and I rode them. You know?
Right.
Hey, you remember when you told me how you learned how to ride when you were riding? You always rode a foot clutch and a hand shift, but you had to learn how to ride the hand clutch, and you were going to be in a parade. Remember? And you said you didn't know how to ride a hand clutch because you always rode a foot clutch. Remember? It was different.
Well, I actually borrowed, 2 doors away from me, my neighbor. At that time, we were not neighbors, but I borrowed his motorcycle for a parade.
Right.
And I had never ridden the Harley, Harley controls. And imagine for the first time riding with the Harley controls in a parade. How you think?
In a parade, no less.
Yeah.
Slamming everybody down, doing the wrong thing.
So tell us when you joined the Motormaids.
How'd I
You joined the Motormaids.
Wait, I gotta think.
Well, can I back her up for a second?
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Gloria, you told me a story. You told me a story.
Oh, you know how I joined the Motormaids?
Sorry, Rob.
My Booby's wife was a Motormaid. My sister-in-law. Yeah. So she wasn't any influence on me, but I did like the story about Dot Robinson. She was actually my inspiration, Dot Robinson.
Dot Robinson, who was the founder of the Motormaids.
Yeah.
Right.
So I joined the Motormaids in 1946. So right now, I think I'm the longest member. I belong to the Motormaids. How many years is that? 1946 to now?
No math tonight, Gloria. We're not doing math. We just know it was a long time.
A long time. 70
A long time.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about working at Bendix during the war.
What is that?
When you worked at Bendix during the war in Teterboro, how'd you get to work?
Yeah, during World War II, I worked in a war plant. Yes, in Bendix Aviation Corporation in Teterboro, New Jersey.
Right,
Yeah.
and you rode to work in long pants, as I remember. You said something about wearing long pants and having to change when you got to work.
Yeah. Well,
Tell us about that.
In those days, women didn't wear slacks, or jeans or anything. But to ride the bike, I had to. So I had, I brought a skirt with me, and I'd go to the ladies' room and change before I went to my job, And, somebody stole my skirt one time because I used to hang it up there, change it from time to time. And I don't know who took my skirt, but that one day I had it with my slacks on, and women didn't wear slacks at that time. This is going back into World War II time,
And that was a big deal, huh?
Yeah, big deal.
I don't know if you can see that picture, but I think that's you on your 1950 when you took your first solo trip to Canada in 1950.
1950. That picture is the
Mhm.
picture that David Kopp used to make the cover of my book. Yes. See?
There's your book again.
Hey.
Hold it up higher, Gloria.
He put me on Daytona Beach with the two racers. That was his interpretation. And the next year, 1951, actually, I rode this bike for the first time to Daytona. So I've been going to Daytona since 1951. And how many years is that? You know, you haven't been going to Daytona. You've been riding. You've been riding to Daytona, right? Riding, yes.
Oh yeah.
You don't did you ever trailer your bike to Daytona?
Did I what?
Ever trailer your bike to Daytona?
What do you say?
She doesn't own a trailer, Rob.
She doesn't even know what the word is.
What's trailer? Trailer.
Justin, tell her.
Now I can hear you better than anyone.
Okay. So I wanted to know how many times did you put your bike on a trailer to go to Daytona?
Go to Daytona? You got to be kidding! How many times?
How many?
You still don't know what you said.
Well, one time I added up how many trips I have made to Florida on my bike, and it was 70.
Oh my gosh. Gloria, remember the one you told me about the one when you rode down and your mom told you about not riding and I think it snowed or something and your mom was worried about you and when you rode to Daytona? Do you remember that story? I think you told me about that a long time ago. When you rode to Daytona and your mom, I think it started snowing on you somewhere. This is back in the 50s.
Oh, snow? You talking about snow? Oh, I came back from Daytona in the ice and snow. Yes. Well, actually, it didn't start snowing until I think Maryland or Virginia, Northern Virginia, I think it was. And so I was riding. You know, they didn't clean the roads in those days. Way back when they didn't clean the roads, and the slush and snow. And I got to Newark, New Jersey, and I had been, this is how it happened. The night before I was leaving Daytona for home, I went to the Dairy Queen, and I'm sitting on my motorcycle eating my ice cream, and a bunch of riders came in with New York license plates. So they started talking to me, and we discovered that we were all leaving the next morning for home. So they said to me that if they would like me to ride with them if I wanted to, So we all went off together. I think there were 6 of us. And then we came to the snow and ice stuff. So we rode to Newark, New Jersey, where we were splitting. I was going one way, they were going into New York. And it was getting dark. And all I had was a little tail light. And I was afraid a car would hit me because who would be stupid enough to be riding a motorcycle in the snow? And so I called my mother up. I had to find a pay station. We didn't have cell phones or anything like that. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, I want you to come down and ride behind me because I'm afraid somebody's going to hit me and it's getting dark. So she came down and she said to me, you're not riding that motorcycle another foot. She says, you're going to have to park it. I says, Mom, I've ridden 300 miles in this already. I've got 13 more miles to go home. Why can't I park it? Okay. I put it in the service station and gave the guy some money. And I kept it for a couple of days there until the roads were clear. Like I said, they didn't clear roads like they do today. Yeah. So anyway, I'm proud to say, yes, I have ridden in snow and ice. Not only once, but other times.
Gloria, just for those listening, Gloria does not trailer her motorcycle. She thinks
ever.
And
ever.
Say that word. So when you did when you rode to Canada in 1950,
Yeah.
and it was in the Enthusiast magazine. The Enthusiast magazine did a story on it.
Yes. That magazine came out in December 1952. But
I have a copy right here. Look, I just picked it up at the newsstand the other day.
I got it in my
Here
book.
it
I
is.
got the story about that. And
Yep.
thing is, the trip was in 1950, but it didn't come out in the Harley Davidson Enthusiast magazine, 1952. Yeah, and that was my first long distance trip. And where the heck?
First of many, many, many more, right?
Yeah.
Was that solo, Gloria? You went by yourself?
Oh, look, she has it too. That's great.
That's in her book.
What is it?
Yeah.
Rob?
Did you go by yourself? That was a solo trip, right?
Yeah, but see, it's about 400 miles from Clifton to Montreal. But I went first to Ohio to visit my motormaid friend. And when she heard I was going to Canada, she said, I'll come with you too. I said, fine. So we headed up to north, and we went in through Buffalo and went to Toronto, over to Montreal. Now, in those days, this is 1950, there was a lot of empty spots. I mean, the towns were few and far between. That's a huge story in my book. That was my first business book as a trip. And I'll tell you, it had a lot of things happening to us in this book.
Yeah, did you lose an oil plug or something in your oil tank, and something happened with your oil?
Yeah. But
and what else?
What was that?
What else happened? You lost your oil plug and you had to get a new plug for your oil.
What was
your
that?
oil? Your oil had a leak. You lost your oil plug, and then something else happened.
Something
you had to find a plug.
Happened?
Yeah, you had to find a plug for your oil. It's okay. Keep going on. You rode all the way to Kent with your friend, and you rode back. And then when you got back, then you went and did a gypsy tour, I think you said, too.
You mean on that trip?
Yeah, when you continued on that trip.
Well,
After
I know
the trip.
my brand new motorcycle. I left home. I had 500 miles on it.
Yeah.
And I know in Buffalo, all of a sudden my bike is smoking and I'm going hysterical. My brand new motorcycle. I mean, you know, my motorcycles are meant to me as if they were my friends, you know, like a real person. So I'm going hysterical. I jump off the bike in the middle of the theater district, and I'm screaming my motorcycle. And some man was standing in line for the theater, and he ran over, and I don't know what he did, but he stopped it from smoking. I was afraid it was catching on fire.
Yeah.
So, but I was scared to death. I loved my motorcycles, and whenever I sold them, I hoped that the person treated them well.
Oh yeah, they're just like your children. I know. I'm pretty attached.
Gloria, I had the opportunity to see Joan Watson before she passed away a couple years ago. Yeah. And she told me that, and she was a motor maid. You know, Joan, people don't know who she is. And I don't want to get into history, but Joan told me that when you were touring in those early years, people did not have favorable things to say about women riding motorcycles. Can you address that?
What did she say? Wait, tell me that again, slow.
So Joan Watson.
Yeah, Joan Watson.
She
said, I knew her well.
She said when you were riding in those early years, women were riding motorcycles. The general public did not look very favorable toward the women riding motorcycles.
Are you kidding? You know, I used to travel alone all over the country. I always did. I was alone. And I was already refused gas in Georgia on my way to Daytona. I was refused a place to stay.
That's what Joan said.
if you were a woman and rode a motorcycle, you were a tramp. So I was a
God.
tramp.
Well, Joan used the worst word, which I won't use.
Oh,
But
don't make Gloria say it.
I won't make Gloria say it, but Joan said it was worse than being called a tramp. Okay.
Oh,
So
Tramp. Uh-oh.
anyway,
She lived in New York before she married Charlie. Because
Right.
Joan was married to Jimmy Jewell.
oh, okay.
Yeah. And then when she married Charlie, she moved to New Jersey.
Okay.
So I went to the meetings in New York that the girls had, but I didn't really bother with them other than the meetings, you know.
Right, right.
I was the only girl from Georgia. I used to go over there.
Yeah.
We used to hold meetings twice a month over in New York, Long Island.
Hey, Gloria, there's somebody lurking behind Chris.
Uh-oh.
There's somebody in the background. I keep seeing, and
I know. He keeps hanging out. I can't get rid of
there's
this.
a guy hanging out here.
I think he wants to sing happy birthday.
Do you
Happy
know-
birthday, Gloria.
Do you know this guy?
I'm throwing you kisses. You know,
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Oh.
I miss you. You know, I miss both of you guys.
Oh,
Yeah, we
miss
miss
But
you
I
too.
haven't been to a few of your latest concerts. You know,
Yeah,
I couldn't walk.
stuck in isolation.
Yeah, Gloria always comes to the concerts. And one time backstage, Pat was teaching her how to play the guitar. Right, Pat?
I did.
Remember that, Gloria, when Pat was teaching you the guitar? What
What
did he
was that?
teach you?
Talk slow.
Do you remember what Pat taught you when you wanted to play the guitar?
No.
Okay, it was a certain string. He taught you how to play a chord.
A G.
And you told everybody that Pat taught you a G string.
He was teaching me the chords. Yes. The G
There
string.
you go.
Yeah, you learned a G, huh?
Yeah, the G string.
She told everybody. Pat taught her the G string.
Yeah, he was teaching me how to. You know something? I bought a guitar for my 40th birthday, and I never touched it. So one day I took it out of its case, and I went to tighten the string, and I broke it. It broke. Now he was teaching me the G, right? G string.
Yes.
That was it. Yeah, you learned it like right away.
You mastered
You're
the
a
G.
natural.
And you know what that was? That was in Daytona.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of things together. Gloria comes to a lot of shows when we come to New Jersey and Sturgis and wherever we're at. You know, we always try to get together and hang out.
We have lots of fun.
I miss
And
that. I miss
we
that.
miss you too. We miss you too. I'm glad we could be together for your 95th birthday. That really means a lot to us to be with you today because we love you so much.
But thank you
And
so
now I know we need to talk about Lori and Kathy because Lori and Kathy are waiting to
Oh,
come in.
yeah.
Lori,
I talk too much anyway. My daughter.
no. We want to talk more. We want to talk more about with Lori and Kathy, so maybe we can bring them in too. What do you think? Hey, there they are. Hey.
Happy birthday,
Hi.
Mom.
Oh, thank you.
Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, this is Lori and Kathy. Lori's Gloria's daughter and writing partner, and you guys have gone so many miles together. Lori, I've ridden with you guys. We've had so much fun on the road, and Kathy hasn't been riding for a couple of years now, and there's a really good story about Kathy riding to Sturgis with her grandma, and just amazing to be able to ride with your grandma. Tell us about that a little bit, Kathy.
So, when I first got my license, that was a surprise. I bought it. I went to a course for the weekend. I had my license about a month and a half. I got it, I surprised my grandma, joined the Motor Maids. We rode up our first convention. What was it? 2 days? No, 2
The
days after
Motor Maids
I got
convention,
my
right?
motorcycle. So we all rode up, and then 3 weeks later, we rode out to Sturgis together. That was amazing.
That's a great time. I can't imagine what that was like for both of you to ride together. You ride with your grandma. I know Lori didn't ride that year. She had some trouble with her back, so she took the car. But you guys, Lori, you and your mom have ridden out to Sturgis. I don't know how many times. They've ridden countless times to Daytona. And,
A lot of times.
How many times?
Avoiding hailstorms. Lots of rain.
Rain and hailstorms and
tornadoes. You go through it all.
Yeah, you guys have ridden out. Well, as a family, you guys did a trip too. Remember, you guys went all the way to California. I think, Kathy, you were younger. You rode on the back maybe with your dad, right? Was that the story?
Yeah, I rode Kathy out. Chico, California we went to, and then we just toured all over the states, just zigzagged up and down all over the place, and went to all the state parks and just toured everywhere. Just had a ball. Didn't have any plans, just winged it. And did whatever we wanted.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you could ride with your mom and spend all that time with your mom. I know we went to the Motor Maids convention in 2010. I rode with you guys to Cody. That was quite fun. Your mom with, we would stop when it was really hot out. Remember that trip when we were dodging storms the whole way out, and we'd stop and you always help your mom gas up and everything. And then you and I'd be sitting there in the picnic table, sitting there getting a bottle of water and just taking a break. And she'd stand by her bike with her like this, and a little hand. And I'm like, "Are you going to sit down and take a break?" "No, let's go. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready." And we were tooling along. I think we were probably doing 80, 85. I mean, there's nobody out there in middle of Wyoming, and there's Gloria right behind us, just pushing us along. I think she was. Well, actually, that was 10 years ago. That was 2010. So she was only 85 then. So hello. Quite an amazing career, I'd say. And then going to Sturgis together, we've done so many rallies together. And there's the time. Where's your mom? I don't know if we can bring her in here. Talk about when she did the burnout. She sat on the burnout bike.
Oh, that's a funny story.
Oh my God! And Michael took these amazing photos of her on the burnout bike. And then do you remember when you did the burnout bike? You did the burnout ride in Sturgis.
Oh boy! Yeah. You want to hear about the burnout?
Yeah, let's hear about the burnout. It's a thing they do in Sturgis, what they put people on the bike.
You were there too, and we were interviewed by was it Jack? Oh, who was interviewing us?
Jack.
Jack. I
Probably
think it was
Jack.
Jack.
Jack shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of knew a little bit about all of us, and they knew I was 85 years old at that time. So we're watching the burnout, and Michael Lichter says, "Hey, Gloria, come here." I said, "What?" Michael's a famous photographer, and I always do things for him that I would never dream of doing. But anyway, I love the guy. He's a great photographer, and so he says, "Come here." I said, "What?" He says, "Get on the back," and the guy's ready to do a burnout. And I said, "You want me to go sit on the back while he's doing the burnout?" I said, okay, so I was 85 years old, and this picture, it looks like I'm doing the burnout. You can't see the guy. And but anyway, that's what happens. It was the
and loving it.
Yeah, well,
and
right afterwards, the guy came over with the microphone and asked her, "Hey, how was that? How'd you feel about that? What do you think about that?" And she says, "Let's do it again." Remember?
Yeah, let's do it again. But I do a lot of things for Michael. Yes, I was.
Anybody. Mike can get anybody to do any. We all love Mike, so Mike could talk everybody into doing anything. And come up, ride ride like this far, on the cannonball next to Mike. He handed me a granola bar on the last cannonball. I was hungry, so
This on the back of my book. The back cover. This is me in Daytona, riding in Daytona when I was 90. And Michael was looking for years and years to get a picture of me riding. But
Yeah.
we're always at the same places, but he's busy, I'm busy. So this time he caught me riding in Daytona when I was 19.
Yep. Do you remember when you met David Yule and David did the painting of you? You know, I think we have a little something from a little message from David for you. I don't know if we can roll that, Chris, if you've got that handy or not, but
Hello, young lady. They say it's your birthday, and I just am here with Greg going over a couple of ideas for Sturgis. Well, I guess we're going to try and make it up there. And I just wanted to say I hope you have a spectacular day today, and wishing you a lot of love, and we'll miss you this year up there. And here's Mr. Rhodes.
Hi, Gloria. Let me move my finger. Happy birthday. We definitely will miss seeing you in Sturgis when you grace us with your presence every year. Hope, I just talked to you a couple weeks ago, but I hope you're doing well. Hope you're still mending. One of these days you can get out of the house and retain your sanity. But for today, we just want to wish you a really happy birthday. Take care.
wow, that was cool, huh? Yeah, David painting you I have a painting of you. I see you every day when I go up my stairs. I got one of those paintings. It's beautiful. David did such a great job on your painting, and I just love it.
And remember us, Chris, you and me at the Sturgis Museum downstairs, and we're sitting there pointing to the individual pictures, me with this picture, and you on the cannonball.
Yeah.
And there's a picture, I think, in my book of us pointing to our own pictures.
Yeah. The funny thing about that picture, Gloria, of us, we just were walking around the museum, and we had both gone in the basement where they have the women's exhibit down there. And there's a chair there, and there's a chair there. And we just took a break and we sat down. We didn't even realize. We looked up and we were under our paintings of us, because they have a painting. My painting. You have your painting. We didn't even know it wasn't planned. It was kind of funny, you know. But you've met so many nice people. I mean, you know, through the years, and you know, certain people. I remember when you met Greg Allman, and Greg Allman. Remember Greg Allman and his mom was a friend of yours. You met Greg's mom, Mama A, and there's Greg. Awesome.
Yeah, that's Greg Allman.
Yeah, his mom actually rode, and he just loved you, and you guys had such a bond. We would, you know, you would come backstage, and he would take you on the bus, and you guys would just talk about motorcycles, and he would hold up the whole show because Gloria was in the dressing room. He wouldn't stop that for anybody. So that was pretty fun. And then there's another special guy that I think means a lot to you that we met. I think it was in Daytona or Sturgis. I can't remember because we've done so many together. But he was a guy that was in a TV show called Renegade. Do you remember a certain person named Lorenzo? I know Gloria knows who Lorenzo is.
Gloria, do you remember me, Lorenzo? I was at your induction to the Motorcycle Hall of Fame there at Sturgis. Remember? Anyway, it's been quite a few years, and I'm just wishing you a very, very happy birthday, Gloria. You are such an example to so many women, young and not so young. And God bless you, dear. I hope you have a wonderful birthday and a terrific year, and keep on riding, keep on putting the rubber down. Good to hear you're doing so well. I'm very happy for you. Bye.
Awesome, Lorenzo.
Do you know who that was, Gloria?
Yeah, she does. Was he the MC when you got inducted into the Sturgis Hall of Fame, Gloria? Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Lorenzo
Lori
was there
says yes.
when you got inducted into the Sturgis Hall of Fame. I think that was in 2011, and Lorenzo was the host that evening. So what was that like, getting inducted into the Hall of Fame in Sturgis?
Lorenzo, he was the MC when I was inducted, and so I told that what was her name? She was running the AMA,
Oh,
surgery.
Christine. Christine.
I told
Yeah.
her, don't forget, sit me by Lorenzo. On try.
Oh yeah.
When I was sitting at the head table next to Lorenzo. He was the MC. And I said to him, Lorenzo, I says, I am so honored to be sitting with you. I says, not only because you're a famous actor or that you're so darn good looking.
Oh God.
It's so darn cute.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know you said that.
Oh, yeah. But I said, you're a man with a good heart. And he is. There's a lot he does for charity and stuff that you don't know.
Yeah, he loves you. By the way, he's actually lives in LA now, and he's a helicopter pilot. He was doing a medevac helicopter flight a couple days ago. Yeah.
I don't know who had the bigger crush. Did he have the bigger crush on Gloria, or did Gloria have a bigger crush on Lorenzo?
I think it goes.
He is one of the many young men I have crushes on.
I think I know my dad is watching. Hey, you remember my dad? You met him in Daytona at the Cannonball 2014 Cannonball kickoff. My dad had a big crush on you too, I think, but he's watching. He's probably mad. He's only 89.
Hi, Chris's dad.
Yeah, they say it's okay. Even the wives say to me, that's okay that you have a crush on my husband. And I say, well, they don't know. They think I'm not dangerous,
Oh my gosh. Well, I know the sticker on your helmet because I took a picture of your helmet, and it says "Fear Me" on your helmet, and I just thought, wow, that's so true.
Oh, that's funny.
So, Gloria, go ahead.
That my son put.
Fear you.
Okay.
How many miles do you think you've ridden over your whole lifetime? How many miles do you think you've ridden? I think I heard
not quite 700,000.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, you better get busy. No, I'm sorry.
Hey, Lori, are you still there?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Do you fear Mom?
Yes.
Tell us some good mom. Okay, we heard some good riding stories.
God.
Tell us some mom stories about when you started riding.
Oh God.
I was riding when I was 12. She sticks me on the bike, shows me how to get it to go, but never showed me where the brakes were, so I couldn't stop. And I just kept riding around the property until I got towards everybody and kept yelling, "How do you stop? How do you stop?" And then after a while, nobody paid attention to me, so I just kept going. I'm like, okay, this is okay. I can keep doing this.
Oh
so I just rode. And then later on, when I got my first Harley, we started traveling together. And she wears me out. I need my naps. And she has to keep going all the time.
And Kathy, what was your induction when you started? I'm sure you took the MSF course, right?
Yeah.
I took the course. I took the course over a weekend, and basically from the course, from like a month and a half, 2 months or so until I bought my bike, I didn't do any riding, and then I just drove. What was it?
To Moncton, Canada, and then turned around and went
a couple
to
thousand miles in the first month.
What was it like riding with your grandma to Canada? I know you guys did some Facebook posts along the way. Tell us about that.
That was fun. I forgot where we stopped. I think it was somewhere in Maine.
Yeah,
we stopped at like a rest area. I just remember, I think it was like a rest area. We were taking a break for a minute, and my grandma hops up off the bike. I don't know where she was stepping, but she just landed her white famous boots right in
dog poop.
Hopped off the steps in it. I don't know. But it's always an adventure, something going on.
She always rides in these white boots, and they're really cool. They got little fringes on them, and they're just her motor-made boots. That's what they are.
They're too darn cute, right, Chris? Too darn cute.
They're very cute. And then I know Gloria got inducted into the AMA Hall of Fame. I think it was in 2016. And that must have been pretty amazing. Gloria, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're still there? What was
Yeah.
that like being inducted into the Hall of Fame, the AMA Hall of Fame?
What did she say? Yeah, that was in you're talking about the AMA. AMA was 2016, and the Sturgis Hall of Fame was 2011. And the Lifetime Achievement Award I received last year from the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
the AMA. The picture there was AMA in 2016.
Right. I think we have another someone that wants to send you a little birthday message that I think might have been at that AMA event.
Happy
Certain
birthday,
people.
Gloria. We send our best wishes to you.
Gloria, I'm thinking of you at 95 years old, running around on that beautiful Harley, and I have great admiration for what you're doing and what you have done regarding motorcycling, and I hope you have a wonderful birthday. 95 years, that's pretty good. That's phenomenal. Enjoy. Have a good time.
Well, thank you. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're such a star. You're such a rock star.
You are.
I'm just so happy we get to see you on your birthday. So what do you got planned? I know no one's really going to any events right now. Everybody's kind of home, and some of the
Yeah,
events have been canceled. You
and trying to catch up on many years of being too busy to do things. But anyway, I'm going to try. Of course, I have to live to be about 125, I think, before I'll make a dent in any of my to-do lists. But I thank God every day that I'm able to. I still have a good mind, and what else can I say? That I'm still alive and have my mind. That's the most important thing.
You are Gloria, sharp as a tack.
Yeah. Right, so.
You are unbelievable. The way you pull these dates and stories out, it's unreal.
You know what
Just incredible.
What we didn't talk about, Rob, was when Gloria rode in Europe. You know, I didn't have any photos to share of that, but Gloria, do you want to talk about a little bit about how you rode in Europe? You always wanted to, and then you finally got to go twice.
Yeah, that was my dream. Back in when I was 25 years old, in 1950, that was my dream. Now, you have to realize in 1950, people didn't even tour the United States. Once in a while, you met a rider that had taken a long distance trip. Most people just rode locally or the adjoining states. And that was my dream. I never heard of anybody saying that they would like to ride in Europe, but that was my dream. And I was 25. And all of a sudden one day, I was 74 and I hadn't done it yet. And I didn't know I was going to live to be 95 because at that time, I think life expectancy was like 79 or 80. So I said to my son, I'm 74 years old. We better hurry up. So I talked him into coming to Europe with me. We took our own motorcycles on the same plane we were on. And I actually had 2 trips to Europe. The first one, we rode the Stelvio Pass by mistake. And later on that night, when I read the book about the Alps, I found out that was one of the most challenging passes in the world. And I'm so proud I did it. But as I was doing it, it came right to the point. There was no radius to the turns. They were right to the point, as you can see, and it was really quite a challenging ride. But I'm so happy I did it because even though it was a mistake, because I don't think I'll ever do it again.
That's how you learn, right?
It's Gloria always says that's how you make memories, right? You always tell me sometimes you ride in the rain or the cold, but that's how you make memories, right?
Yep. I always accept challenges. I try to conquer the challenges that come to my life, and never give up. Never give up.
No, that's how you, and you've been my coach and my mentor, and I thank you because when I was in 2010 at that first cannonball, you were there beside me at the starting line, and you told me, just ride your race. Remember, you said everybody else is going to flop along the way, and you just tell me what you told me. Do you remember?
Yes. Yes.
Putt, putt, putt.
I think the world of you. I think you are done so much for motorcycling and proving that as a woman, you can do it. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Well, I have a great role model, and that's you. I just love you so much.
Cris Simmons. I am seeing stuff scrolling by on the screen, and I'm wondering if Chris Callan can tell us. There are a lot of people watching, Gloria. Chris Callan, are there any questions that stick out?
You know, it's not even questions, man, as much as it is statements. Like people, the amount of admiration and respect that people have for this woman and the lives that you've touched, Gloria. I'm not sure even even with the people that come up to you in the crowd, like all night long, we're watching the comments go by here. People saying how you've inspired them, how you've taught them things, you've kept them going. It's just an amazing thing that in your 95 years, you've made a difference for so many other people, and we thank you for that.
Yeah.
Who was that? I didn't catch the name.
That was Chris. Chris Callan.
That's
Chris. Yes. Well, thank you so much. And wait a minute. Yeah.
Oh, she's got to pull out her award.
She's amazing.
That.
Hey, look at that.
Chris. Where's Chris?
Sharpest.
Right here.
What's that?
I'm right here.
Hold it up, Gloria. Up higher.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What's that one?
Hold it up higher, Gloria. Higher.
That was a different year from the Source Awards.
Oh, hold it
Wait
up.
a minute, Gloria.
Yep.
Hey, look what I got, Gloria.
You see that?
I got one too.
Huh? Go ahead. What do you got? Shameless plug for Cyclosaurus magazine. Shameless plug.
Cyclosaurus magazine.
That is
Anyway,
from
I love it.
it doesn't say Chris Callan, and it doesn't say, oh, here it is, Cyclosaurus. Yeah, Cyclosaurus magazine. Yeah.
Awesome.
I treasure that.
Well, you know, the one behind you is one I really love. It's a Jeff Decker trophy that was from the Lifetime Achievement Award that you got in Sturgis. Was that last year? I don't even know if it was last year or the year before.
Oh,
the Lifetime Achievement Award. It's beautiful. And I know it's too heavy. She can't pick it up. But it's a Jeff Decker and it's just gorgeous. But it's back there at the wings on it.
Yeah.
But,
you see that?
yeah, we see it. It's beautiful.
Right there.
And I
See
know
that?
I'm so glad you got your book done, Gloria. We talked about you having this book for years. You would come to my book signings, and I was like, please do a book, because everybody wanted to hear your stories, and then you did your book, and it's so amazing. I'm so proud of you that you did it, and it's a great read and beautifully done. And I love the pictures, because it's just your whole life is in this book, and must be proud that you did it, Gloria.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I have order forms on my Facebook page, and it gives you that. That's it, and it has all the information I need. And I would like to know if the book I autograph every book that you buy, and I'd like to know if the person that you're giving the book to, is it for you, a motorcyclist or not a motorcyclist, or a gift to I like to find out if the person is a motorcyclist, because I add a little something to my autograph, but I autograph every book, no extra charge. And
Yeah.
and the order form, like I say, is on my Facebook page. Yeah.
It's a great book. Thank you again for writing it. Thank you so much for coming on with us. I'm thrilled. We have to, now that you know how to do Zoom, we need to talk more often on Zoom because we can't be together right now, but we will at some point. And are there any more questions, Rob, that you have for Gloria? Oh, Rob puts a big question mark on him. I guess he's gone.
There he is.
He froze. What?
He looks a lot better. Oh, there. He was looking good for a minute.
What are you doing? I'm hard of hearing. I'm sorry. I'm 95 years old. What do you expect? You got to have some faults.
Hey, Gloria, I'm hard of hearing at 50.
Oh, yeah. Gumby. Yeah, that's your pal, right? Yeah.
Gumby's got his mask on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, are you entering the next one? Are they having another cannibal?
Gumby's singing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
That was Pat doing Gumby. Anyway.
Let
Happy
me see you. Come on.
Pat singing as Gumby.
Pat, get
Anyway.
the
All right, you guys. I think that we've probably kept her long enough, but we did talk about the book. We've held it up.
Okay.
It's a great book. Thank you, guys. I guess we'll see you. We'll see you next week. We'll see what we're going to do. We don't know yet, but I really enjoyed doing this. Thank you, Cycle Source Magazine. Thank you, Rob.
Well, let's sign off with Gloria first, and
Right
everybody from the family. Really, thank you for taking the time, especially during a time where you're celebrating this beautiful lady's birthday, to come on and share her stories with us. Thank you, Gloria, and thank you to both of you ladies too.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Huh? Laura's license plate says "huh." We don't know why. It came like that. Well, thanks again, Rob.
So what do you think, Cris? First show. This is, I mean, you rocked an hour and a half like nothing. You had an outstanding guest. That was a big help.
Yeah,
but
wow.
I mean, good show. Good stuff to come. What do you think? I mean, you sent in like a 19 show kind of grid of this is where I'm going. So tell everybody a little bit about what you think's coming up. And
I don't know. I mean, there's so many people I want to talk to and bring on this show. I just have to see what I can get together. But I'm happy to do it. And thank you again.
Right on. Right, wait. Rob has something. We can't hear him, but he has production notes. He has production notes. He's furiously going over his production notes, and it's a man in a studio. It's a man in a studio. First word sounds like okay.
Well, Rob, is Rob gone? You can't hear him?
His audio is gone. I don't know what happened there.
Well, Rob, what's your nickname for me? You can tell them. It's okay. What's your nickname for me when we're on the Cannonball?
No.
There you go. It's kind of, it's Boss Girl. He calls me Boss Girl.
Right.
I'm not bossy. I just know what needs to get done. Like when we're on the road, I tell Rob what's going on with the bike, and he knows, and then he helps me fix it.
Right on.
Right, Rob? Right on.
So listen, I want to remind all you guys real quick. First and foremost, I want to say thank you very much to Michael Lichter. Amazing photographer. Go to, what is it? Lichter Photo is his website. Lichterphoto.com for anything. Like, you'd be surprised how many of you Michael catches in the crowd. Beautiful pictures. But one of the most famous motorcycle photographers of my entire time on this planet. And he's nice enough to help us out with these shows with images all the time. So thank you, Michael. You guys can help make these shows continue to go on and reach further just simply by hitting the share and like button. Make sure you hit the notifications at the top so when we go live with these programs, you know it and you know what we're doing out here. A lot of hard work going into these things, man, believe it or not. And I mean, Chris, Heather and I both, I'm going to bring Heather on for 1 second. Mm-hmm. Heather and I both have to give it up for you because for your first show, perfect. You had your audio gear together, your video, your run a show was great. Perfect. Perfect
I have
stuff.
help. I have a wonderful son, Josh, who's technical.
Hi, Josh.
guy.
You're awesome. You killed it. Thank you so much.
Pat wrote some awesome music. And
yeah, listen.
I have a great family.
I have a bone to pick with you about that because, like, listen, okay, we've been working on a show for almost 4 years now. And right out of the gate, like, you have your own audio engineer and you have Pat Simmons from the Doobie Brothers write your intro music.
It's her husband.
That's not fair.
No, it's more
But that's not fair.
You could write your own intro music, Mr. Musician.
Yeah, you could.
It wouldn't be cool like the groove he laid down, man.
Oh, please.
Oh, God. Okay, that's all. I just wanted to say all that stuff for a minute. So
no,
you
you
can close out your show. And thank you very much for doing this with us because it's a blast.
Thank you, guys. I hope we can see you again next week. All right.